Hey guys, how you doing? It's Patrick here. Um, Back from a long hiatus of not being on YouTube. Well, being on YouTube, but mainly just posting kind of crap, which is fine, you know. But anyway, a few days ago I came across these Nike Premier 3s. I picked them up for about €100, which is their retail price. And I think they're a very solid pair of boots for €100. So I'm going to be reviewing these today. Very excited to review them. And yeah, without further ado, let's go with it. So starting off with the colorway, it's very nice. I believe. You got black, you got Volt, you got white, and I think the white leather just looks really nice. They also have these in just a more traditional black and white variation if that's what you're looking for. But personally, I'm not a huge fan of the black. I guess it's a psychological thing. You know, black just seems to spell being slower on the pitch and stuff. Um, Nonsense, of course, but sure. Look, all about personal preference in the end. They've also got a lovely blue and white colorway, and a platinum version, all platinum, which is absolutely gorgeous. If I'm being honest, but these are the pair that I actually managed to pick up. I was actually looking for the blue and white, but they didn't have them in my size. But I was perfectly happy to come up with these in the end. And yeah, I think this colorway looks really nice. But yes, so starting off with the upper, what do you get? So for €100, you get a kangaroo leather upper, which is really nice. You know, I like the way that, it would have been easier for Nike at this price point to just say, we'll give you a calfskin upper. But no, they went with a kangaroo leather upper, which is super soft out of the box. Feels a little bit stiff when you put them on your feet at first, but after a little bit of break-in time, which is what I've clearly done here, it should soften up really nice for you, and it really just molds to your foot, even after a few days of playing in them. That's what I love about a leather boot. It may not be as responsive as some of the more modern synthetic boots like a Mercurial or something like that, but you really, with a leather football boot, you really get that custom fit. It's your boot, kind of in a way, rather than a manufacturer's boot. If you get what I'm trying to say. But moving along, this part is actually it is not leather. It is a kind of a synthetic leather, kind of made to mimic the feel of leather. But it's nice. It is decently soft. I wouldn't expect at this price point to have, a full leather boot. It wouldn't make a lot of sense from Nike because they probably wouldn't be making any money. Yeah, and moving over to the tongue, also on the upper, you also have this synthetic leather. I kind of wish, it was leather. The tongue, a leather tongue is always really nice. It always feels great. But, this does get the job done. And as you can see on the tongue, they have made cutouts from a fold-over flat tongue that you can basically, personalize yourself and get rid of the tongue for a little bit less bulk and more of a one-to-one sensation, which is kind of what I did. That's exactly what I did. It's probably more of a psychological thing. It's probably true that the addition or the subtraction of a fold over flat tongue, it's probably not going to make the biggest difference in terms of performance, but I just prefer the way it feels. Yeah, I think you get a more responsive feel. from it overall, but that's just my opinion. You got a kind of a leather tab here with the Premier logo on it, which I think looks really cool. I know a lot of people aren't a huge fan of it. SR4U, soccerreviewsforyou.com, he wasn't a huge fan of it, but I think it looks really nice. I think it gives it that kind of premium vibe. And moving to the back, you've got your Nike Premier logo, and you've got some lovely kind of embossed kind of lions. I don't know if you could see it here. And it really gives it that impression of a kind of a classic boot of the beautiful game, England coming up with it. Pretty cool. And over to the heel, you've got some perforations in the back, as you can see. I think it's more of a design element more than anything. I didn't personally notice anything when playing with these, with regards to ventilation in the heel or anything like that. But yeah, so that's what we've got with the upper. You've got a mix of kangaroo leather and synthetic leather, which is pretty nice. And I almost forgot, you got your Volt Nike swoosh, which is stitched on. Looks really good. Looks a lot more classic than what we got from something from the Premier 1 and the Premier 2, which is always great. I do appreciate what Nike's trying to do with this. It's always been bare bones, back to basics kind of thing with the Premier line. And I like the way that they're just implementing a few modern touches with it. This is a great football boot for €100. And moving on to the lacing system, as you can see, you've got your remnants from the kind of fold over flap tongue that used to be on this pair. I personally am not a huge fan of it, but it's all about personal preference at the end of the day. Your lacing system is traditional, nothing too fancy here. As I said, it's all about simplicity. Less is more, and it'll get the job done. I think this kind of a boot is much better than many of its competitors that'd be about €100 more. But you're paying for the tech that's being advertised in the marketing. I really am impressed with these. The simplicity it has to offer, the kind of natural sensation it has on your foot, has a very nice touch on the ball, very soft, feels very supple. Just everything you'd want, nothing extra. So moving back to the back of the heel, of course, like most modern football boots these days, you will find a heel counter in here for a little bit of additional structure and protection, which is always nice. It wouldn't be too common in any football boot these days, regardless of its the vibe it's going for, if it didn't have a heel counter. And moving to the sole plate, you've got a very traditional stud pattern consisting of mostly conical studs. This is a firm ground variation, but I am personally not allowed to play in firm ground when I play football. It's just a rule that they have. I'm not allowed to play in soft ground. But there is a soft ground variation if you do need it, in the form of the anti-clog technology, which is very effective if you're not looking to get mud on your boots. But yeah, very traditional sub pattern, conical studs. You've got a little kind of an oval shaped stud here in the center, which just I think will add, you know, that little bit of bite to your traction. You've got these kind of little ribs at the front, which have been quite commonplace on Nikes over the years, particularly in the Mercurial line. You even have them on the back there as well. I don't think they're going to do too much, but you know, I could be wrong. I certainly haven't noticed anything. And the material on the sole plate is probably my only gripe with this boot. It's a little bit flimsy, it's a little bit plasticky. One of the main issues I had with this was, you know, I play on very hard ground. It's probably unnaturally hard, the ground I play on. You know, it's not firm, it is hard, rock hard. So the thing I noticed with it was, you know, based on the material, I was kind of getting a lot of stud pressure from the boot. But again, like, it's probably not the flaw of the boot, it's probably more the flaw of the field that I'm playing on. But again, I would have loved to see a sole plate with, you know, a little bit of a, you know, a sturdier material, because this does feel a little bit brittle. It feels flexible, but it just feels that little bit cheap. You know, it makes sense. It's €100. But you know, this boot, I would say, is on par with most top-end boots out there. It really is excellent in, you know, the comfort it provides, the natural custom feel. You know, it feels great. And you've got an embossed Nike logo on the sole plate, which is really nice. I think that looks very cool. Gives it that traditional vibe again. But yeah, so that would probably be everything that I know about the Nike Premier 3. It is definitely an improvement on its predecessors, the 2 and the 1. And I think this is a great option if you are maybe new to playing the game. If you want a change from a synthetic boot and you want to try something a little bit modern, that is going to have a leather upper and is going to provide that traditional feel, that, you know, custom one-to-one sensation that you get from a leather boot essentially molding to your foot. Yeah, so that concludes my review. Thank you very much for watching. I will probably be back with a few more in the future, but I can't say that for definite yet. I will have to get a few more things to review. You know, these things just happen as they do, you know. But yeah, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.